New year, new PlayStation Plus games. You would think this year Sony will go through some good games to give their fans for being around for another year and share appreciation to their fans for paying for their subscription. Instead, they punched us in the face, took our wallets, made us pay for a premium subscription, and left us with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Right next to it is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. This lineup is actually just here to waste your time. Not every game here, in my opinion, doesn't feel worth it to pay that extra fee for the premium edition, but we're going to explore each game one by one, going through each pros and cons, and give it a review at the end. Types of reviews, consider hitting that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and let's get into it. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I'm pretty sure if you're a long-time Batman Arkham fan, or a DC fan, or been around the gaming community, you would know the history of this game like it was yesterday. Technically, since it came out less than a year before it became a free game. But if you don't, I'll quickly explain. WB wanted to jump into the live service side of gaming, and added it to the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game, which in the past, it didn't sound too bad. A game revolving around a co-op experience with your friends online, fighting against the beloved Justice League, who's being controlled by Brainiac, including gear and weapons, a skill tree, etc. Constant content? That sounds great. However, the game was starting to fade after every trailer, with the first con being the actual team itself. Seeing how the plot is revolving around killing the Justice League, I would think we would need some heavy hitters to at least stand a chance against the super team. Instead, we got a generic team that is way over their heads and should have died in the first 10 minutes of the game. Who in the heck wants to play Captain Boomerang over Deathstroke at release? Who the heck wants to... What is Deadshot gonna do to the Man of Steel, the fastest man alive, and a Green Lantern?
Really? Why don't you just mail me the bullet?
Harley Quinn sure is usually a safe choice for the Suicide Squad, but it shows that they didn't even try to branch out to other characters that could have worked for the plot and gameplay. Especially since they decided to do a multiversal route. Could have pulled anyone from their universe. And the game DLC didn't even make it better. With this game being a live service game, having constant updates and content, you would think that every DLC would change up the gameplay and story. Nope. They gave an introduction to the character, left the character with the Suicide Squad, and then played the same game and missions over and over again. Kill and protect the bus, kill, collect people or data, and put it in a truck. Do that rinse and repeat till you get new armor, new weapons, new cosmetics, whatever, until you get to the boss. That's just a recycled boss of one of the Justice League members with the same gameplay mechanics. If you haven't noticed, the biggest con in Suicide Squad is the gameplay, which is the most disappointing and boring thing I've played in a very long time. As flashy and cool the movement is, I can't take away the same repetitive missions added with stupid challenges so that you won't be able to breeze through the game like it isn't easy already. Uninteresting side characters that help you during your playthrough with upgrade your guns and weapons, etc. The positive I could give to the gameplay is the boss battles, with only two being good. The Flash and Green Lantern. Everything else was pretty much a snooze fest, too easy for being unique. Instead, it felt so rushed, boring, and pointless. Next, biggest con is the story. This is one of those games where the main cast could be dead at any moment in the game, but the plot allows them to win and survive every time they can. And you could tell from the very start of the game, where since they don't see you as a threat, they won't kill you. Why? You've already killed half of the population. Why not already kill the guys that you've been tampering with, that have been tampering with your plans since the beginning of the game? And not one bats an eye until after every member is dead. And even then, they still don't try to find us. Our base It's in the Hall of Justice. You're literally telling me that Superman nor Batman would have figured that out in a matter of minutes or even seconds if they actually tried? The story doesn't make sense. You're telling me at the end of the game, after killing the whole Justice League, excluding Wonder Woman, she died trying to save us, they ended up being clones from another universe? Okay, now the pros. Which is the Batman scenes. This is where the Arkham team were cooking. This moments, which is only 2, is like playing a horror game. You feel like you were playing as a bandit trying to find Batman while he's hunting you.
Damn. You got knocked the fuck out, man.
This was the coolest thing ever. One part being from the beginning of the game, which felt like they were showing up the legacy of the Arkham games, which was great, but it also asks a question, who was this game made for? The Arkham fans? Or loot shooters? I'm not sure. And the second part was before the Batman boss, which reminded me of the Arkham Knight when you were playing as Joker walking around while Batman statues were playing with you. It was horrifying and good. Sadly, the boss battle itself was terribly boring. Sadly. Another pro is wait, give me a minute. Oh yeah, Deathstroke is in the game for the last DLC. Yeah, that's it. 4 out of 10. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big racing fan, but jumping into this game and hearing the music in the beginning, I definitely got a little hype. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which originally came out in 1998 and remastered in 2010, came a long way. And considering this game being a remastered, this is a big upgrade. This game truly felt like a good remaster, adding in tons of cars, visual improvements, and gameplay enhancements. Especially also adding in an online experience. This game takes place where you choose 2 sides, an all-out racer, grinding your way to the top, or becoming a cop, and take on bounties to take down racers. And don't worry, the game allows you to do both, whenever you want, with each having their own missions and their own cars, which you have to level up each time to earn new cars and a new rank to do even more missions. This game being a remastered, having updated graphics, this game is beautiful. Nice cars, beautiful maps, just a great visual game that was on the PS4, which is crazy. The offline experience is definitely a grind meant for racing fans with a tons of content, a level up system that goes up to level 20, which is a bit short, but when you play the game, you can see how long it could really take to get you there. The higher the rank, the more equipment you get and the more cars. The problem that I have with this game is that it's only set in one area, meaning you're going to be seeing a lot of the same tracks and the same missions, but the strategies in the cars are always changing, keeping you on your toes and how you want to approach each race or how to stop a race. And if you're worried that no one is playing online, don't be. You'll find a game in minutes. You'll be set with 6 or 9 players, 3 being cops and 3 being racers. And it's definitely a joy if you're a racer. But as a cop, it's definitely a hassle, especially if you don't have good teammates. There is no story, sadly, so you're basically going to be grinding all the way up to level 20, which is a lot of content on its own, but doesn't seem like much afterwards, but still a good racing game. This one's a quick review, because it's a racing game. There's not much else you can really get out of this, except for just grinding, getting new cars, getting new equipment, and if there was a story, I would have talked about it too. The online experience is really functional and it works. So, to be honest, this is a good game for anyone who's into racing games and used to play the Hot Pursuit games back in the day, in 2010. Well, here you guys go. 8 out of 10 for me.
This is the story of a video game called The Stanley Parable. You knew The Stanley Parable, of course. After all, it was the video game sensation of 2013. Don't you remember all those awards we were nominated for?
And this year's winner for Best Narrative is The Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
Papers, please.
The Last of Us. Papers, please.
The Last of Us.
Yes, it was thrilling to be so unanimously recognized by our peers. Gotcha! Stanley, I've had a great idea. I want to add new endings and new content, new adventures for you. Won't it be fun? Oh, shush, of course it will. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. Forever changed Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that employee 427 did every day. Room 427. Stanley worked for Stanley went around. Stanley stepped into the Stanley just sat around. Stanley walked upstairs. Stanley was in such a rush. Stanley is quite a bored. Stanley for the first Stanley realized Stanley had never seen Stanley knew the office. Stanley comes. Stanley just Stanley was still Stanley was making Stanley. Oh, come now. You don't want it to end already, do you? Why don't we begin again? Wait, how did you do that?
Now, sadly, this is going to be a quick review. This isn't my cup of tea. Mostly because it's a walking simulator. No, literally, it's that type of game. You're just walking and hearing narration, and pretty much. Which only big difference is that there are multiple endings, so each run is a bit different. Could be interesting than the last. And, I've done 4 runs, and I got completely bored after the first 2. There is just nothing there that keeps you interesting, because at the end of the game, you're just restarting and not actually getting to do anything, just walking. I'll say the endings and dialogues are interesting, but what else could I review on this game? The story? I guess, but we already know the story. You're in an infinite loop, and you're trying to get out. But there's no interesting plot around it because you're always set to reset. So it's not very interesting, so to say. I don't want to rate this game because I don't feel like it's necessary because it's already not my type of game. So I'm automatically going to be like, 1 out of 10. But to someone else, it could be an 8 out of 10 because of how the dialogue and the story is. To me, it's just not for me. So I'll just give it a pass and say it's a game that everyone should try at least once to see if they enjoy it or not. Well, that's all the games here, to be honest, except for Suicide Squad. You don't need to play that game. You absolutely do not need to play that game. But, all things, that's all the games for PlayStation Plus for January this year. Hope you guys did enjoy the video as much as I did. Consider hitting that thumbs up. Subscribe if you guys are new, because I will be trying to do every month of PlayStation Plus this entire year. This is a new year. So, subscribe so you won't miss any more videos. I'm just Childish, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.